musician Townes Earle. Welcome to The Right Note.
Yes. Here.
I want to start off with news that might come as a shock to some of your fans. No more stamping for you on stage?
No, more stamping on stage. It's proven to be hard on the lower back.
Yeah.
And I think as I've gotten a little bit older, the back doesn't hold together as well as it used to.
So how do you keep time now? Is the little finger playing on your thigh? Maybe?
Yeah. I just try to do my best in my head. I mean, I probably speed up and slow down. I mean, I don't think my foot ever helped me keep time. I think it actually probably got me more out of time than it did anything. Because I don't think I really ever stamped it in time. I just stamped it like an
percussion.
Yeah, just boom, just to do it.
So without the stamping, do you find yourself playing a little softer, a little less aggressively?
I'm definitely less aggressive. Definitely, I play a bit softer, which is easy. It's easier on my hands, which is great.
Yeah.
Easier on my string intake because I used to break a lot of strings. So it's but no, it's definitely it allows me to do a lot more songs than I used to. Specifically, the way that I play, I don't pull up on the strings as much as I used to. Get my finger under the strings and pop them up.
Right.
And so I've quit doing that, and gone for a bit cleaner of a stroke. Yeah.
So keeping strings, keeping guitar, and keeping yourself intact.
Yeah.
As long as possible.
Yeah.
The tradition you work in, folk, country, blues, singer, songwriter, it's a storytelling tradition. It's strong on tales of other people's lives. Up until this year and Saint of Lost Causes, which I'll conveniently hold up in front of the camera right now, you focused more on personal stories, intense ones. Sometimes they were grand in scale, but they were centered on your experiences. Have the times changed, or have you?
I think it's a bit of both. I think the times have changed and I have changed. I think that I needed, I think it was just the right time for me to come out and start telling other people's stories. I don't think that before this record I had the experience enough with people. I think that I still had that kid about me that didn't care enough about people. I thought I did, but I didn't really sink into what went on in their lives and what caused the problems in their lives for a long time. And so I think it was important for me to wait until this point to do such a record.
It's not that they're not personal stories, though. I mean, the man seeing his daughter for the first time after being in jail, somebody else thrown out at home at 14, doing 2 years in county for manufacturing drugs. The dreams of a woman who moved from Mississippi to California, living on in her son. These are stories of individuals. What connects them together on the album, and what connects them to you?
They're Americans. And I think that's one thing that I think that we forget that. I think that Australians forget that they're all Australians, and I think that Germans forget that they're all Germans. But I think that Americans more than anybody, especially because we're spread out over such a not that y'all have about the same size area, but not the vast population that's spread out over that area. To where we think that we see. And I mean, I grew up like this. It's like Tennesseans didn't have anything in common with people from Alabama, even though it's just to our south. We thought they were idiots, and they thought we were idiots. Same thing with Mississippi, and sure enough with the North and the West. They didn't have anything. And I do think that we have those distinctions. Of course, I think that the southeastern United States by far is the most distinct culture in the United States of America, but I don't think that it in any way makes us un-American or more American or less American than anybody else.
Flint, the subject of Flint City Shake It on the album, the song you played for us, it's a kind of story that can get easily forgotten or passed aside if you think they're not like us. It's just, that's some desperate corner of my country and I don't care about it. in your telling of it, you center it as an American story, don't you?
Yes. I mean, I think I take it. I mean, I wish that there was some way that I could prove to, the hillbillies in West Virginia um, and all the black folks in Flint, Michigan, how much they have in common. Um, how much has been taken from them by industry. Their water's been ruined. I mean, their lives have been just destroyed by bigger men than they are, and bigger women, bigger people than they are, and that's it's just an incredible fact that Americans just don't. I think that we got too big. So the idea of national news is like kind of a ridiculous idea. It's like you're not going to know what's going on in Nebraska and Iowa and Flint, Michigan if you live in Tennessee.
Yeah.
You're just not.
Appalachian Nightmare on the album. It's an epic. It's the longest song on the record, and it even at 5 minutes or so, I think it is, isn't it? It feels like it could be 10.
Right.
Not for tedium, but just because it has such a big thing to tell. Taking us from Cincinnati to West Virginia, from home cooking, drugs to inevitable showdown surrounded by police. It's a film waiting to be made.
Right.
Is there any possibility that it might go that way? I mean, I was listening to it again this morning and thinking, if songs from Nebraska could be turned into films, this certainly could.
I would. Well, I'd like to. I mean, I'd like to see that. I mean, I'm definitely working with I'm talking with some people with the Nashville Ballet right now about doing a ballet based on some of my songs.
Really?
But we don't know what's going to happen with it.
Justin Townes Earle Ballet. That's an interesting one.
Yeah. I think based on looking at basing it on white gardenias.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. How far have you gone with that?
Well, we're just in the director of the Nashville Ballet is diving all into it right now and deciding what all songs he'd like to see.
Okay. Well, it'd be interesting. Got the body of a dancer, so it could work. No stamping. Though.
Yeah, I just get to play the songs. I ain't dancing.
No dancing.
Yeah, no dancing here.
While we've been talking about the broader stories of on this album, the America that you talk about, you're still here in this record. There's still the sense of you're the guy who's been playing music, been on the road since you were 15, and particularly in a song like Mornings in Memphis, that just feels like you. Even if it's not, it feels like what we might think of. I've been up all night drinking alone. I ain't got no business out on the road. I love mornings in Memphis. Is that you? Parts of you in there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's parts of me in all of this. I mean, one thing that I'm very intolerant of is people who write about things they don't know anything about. So these people that I'm writing about all on this record, I know all of them.
Right.
I personally know all of them. I have their phone numbers.
And do you have their permission to tell their story?
Well, they're still composite characters, but I'm just saying I know people like them.
Yeah.
Exactly like them. I mean, and so I think that songs like Mornings in Memphis were definitely, is definitely one of those things where I was looking at, I've always loved Memphis, Tennessee, and hanging out there, but it's like the only peaceful time in Memphis really is really, really, really early in the morning, right before the sun rises.
Yeah.
And even then, it can get out of control pretty fast.
Yeah.
But it is the most peaceful time and that anybody has. It's where where most people are asleep and the city gets to rest and not worry about the troubles that haunt it on a daily basis. Because I don't think people really realize how dangerous of a city Memphis, Tennessee is. I don't think they get it, how rough it is. I mean, it's right there with Detroit. It's right there with Detroit.
That's a pretty high standard to meet.
Yeah.
Or low standard.
Yeah.
But of course, I mean that moment of peace. That's also for a traveling man of any sort, in your case, a singer, that time is also the last moment of peace as well, before you got to hit the road or after the show. But it also reflects a life that's not the easiest to live, and also not the easiest to exist in with a family, with a child. How are you managing to be both a working musician and a father, knowing that those things can't easily exist?
I'm not doing very well with it right now. I think the wife and I are going through some problems, and so I don't get to see my daughter very often. But I think that for some reason, sometimes somebody marries a musician and thinks that well, we'll have a baby and then everything will change. And I know there's nothing that's going to change. There's just nothing that's going to change. This is the only thing I've ever done legal in my life, and I don't know any other way to do it. Yeah. I'm going to have to figure out ways, I'm going to have to figure out ways to see my daughter and spend time with my daughter, which is going to take a bit more effort on my part, a bit more traveling, but I don't mind traveling. So I don't think that'll be as soon as we get things settled down. It'll be fine. But yeah, I mean, thinking the idea that like having a child was going to change anything about me and the way that I live my life is just an insane idea, and that's an insane idea for any musician.
As you said, this is all you've known since you were 14, 15.
Yeah.
You don't want to change either, do you? I mean, how do you change who you are?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Is like this is exactly who I am. I have no clue how to be or do anything else. I mean, it's this or like some kind of job in a factory, that's perfectly fine work. I just don't want to do it.
And people who work in factory often don't have the option of another expression, another way to live that you have. I mean, to give this up to work in a factory would essentially kill who you are.
Oh yeah, I would definitely be a bitter human being if I had to do that.
Yeah, some good songs that might come out of it. You just wouldn't write them.
No, exactly. Well, nobody'd hear them.
Yeah. This is a small part. This is maybe more me than anything else, but I like the way Mornings in Memphis reminds me of Anna, Go to Him, the Arthur Alexander song. I don't know if you
know it.
I mean, he was born in the South,
Yeah.
like you, Alabama, I think, wrote
Yeah.
rhythm and blues and country. Do you see yourself as just another step in a long tradition, an American tradition?
Absolutely. I see myself as literally just that, a step in a tradition that I hope will be carried on for generations more. That's why, like on the last record on Kids on the Street, I had like songs like the Stagger Lee song and same old Stagger Lee, and it's why I wrote years ago I wrote They Killed John Henry. I want those traditions. I want people to realize that like I want some kid one day to like hear my John Henry song, think that I started that, and then be like go back and realize that whoa, there's 100 John Henry songs.
Yeah.
And this was just a continuation of the tradition.
Was it, as a final thing, as a continuation of that tradition, is there a song that you haven't covered yet that you'd like to continue the tradition?
I haven't really. I mean, I would really. I would like to just go through and do just about everything that Billie Holiday ever recorded, which I'm kind of looking at trying to. I'm talking with I won't mention their name right now, but a certain very traditional jazz band from New Orleans about recording Billie Holiday songs with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, next time you come out, maybe we'll be hearing some of that.
Maybe so.
In a dress.
In a dress with a white gardenia in my hair.
Justin Townes Earle, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.